Okay, so this is just an extension, excuse me, of the normal proofs that you know where you're trying to prove congruence. We're just going to go one step further once we prove congruence and use the fact that we know it, that the two triangles are congruent to prove that other corresponding parts are also congruent. So we're going to say 1 here. I'm going to say what they gave us, angle ABD is congruent to angle CBD. And I'm also going to list below that angle BDA is congruent to angle BDC. And the reason that I'm doing this all in one step is because they both have the same justification or reason, which is that that information is given to us. So we can list that in a single step. We want to establish that at the start, and then for step number 2, well, we've got now two angles. We want to establish that the included side is congruent so that we can use angle side angle, and this side right here is reflexively congruent to itself. That is congruent to that. So we can then say we know that segment or side BD is congruent to BD through the reflexive property of congruence. Sorry, thanks for your patience while I write. Even as sloppy as I am. This pen is not great. I would do better if I could, but it's a little bit of a struggle when I can't lean on the screen and I'm writing with a tool that's a little difficult. So anyway, now we can then say triangle ABD is congruent to, and let's just be careful about what we do here, ABD, and A corresponds with C. You can see the two angles that have marks correspond with each other there and there. So we got this angle here. So we've got A, B, C going from no marks to 1 mark to 2 marks. Sorry, ABD is congruent to CBD. And triangle CBD, and then we can say, what is the reason that we know that? We know that through angle side angle. Okay, now we're going to go one step further, and we're going to say that segment or side AB is congruent to segment or side CB. That's this is congruent to this. And how do we know? We know that because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And we also, I've been saying CPCT, which you'll hear, but you also see CPCTC. And I'm just going to write it like that. It's kind of fun because it's got a little bit of a, a letter symmetry to it in that there's a C in the front, a C in the middle, and a C in the back. Okay, so corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So I'm going to start writing it like that, even though I hadn't been saying that in class. You see it both ways, but you very commonly do see it written like this, so we're just going to keep it like that. That's the justification. Once we know that two triangles are congruent, we can name any corresponding parts as congruent through the CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. And that's it, we're done.